In a world turned to ash, one man walks alone with a secret that could save humanity or doom it forever. Join us as we unravel the incredible journey of Eli, a lone wanderer armed with unmatched survival skills, a sacred book, and a mission that will take him to the edge of life itself. Prepare for fierce battles, heart-stopping betrayals, and a revelation you'll never see coming in the Book of Eli. In a desolate future, the world is ravaged by a cataclysmic nuclear disaster known as the Flash, leading to the annihilation of natural ecosystems. The United States becomes an unforgiving wasteland where survival demands harsh and often brutal measures. 3 decades after the catastrophic event, Eli, a lone wanderer, treks through an ash-laden forest. He watches as a cat approaches a decaying body, intending to feed. With a swift pull of his bow, Eli unalived the cat, ensuring his next meal. Eli moves on, searching abandoned vehicles for remnants of value, but finds only skeletons. Eventually, he stumbles upon a derelict house and begins a meticulous search. His attempts to refill his canteen from the taps fail, and an overpowering stench leads him to a hanging body in a closet. Undeterred, he searches the corpse for anything useful. Later, he roasts the cat over a fire, cleans his weapons, and listens to music on an old iPod. A curious rat appears, drawn by the aroma of cooking meat, and Eli shares a morsel with it. After cleaning himself with wet wipes, Eli spends the night reading from a cherished book before falling asleep. At dawn, Eli discovers his iPod's battery is nearly drained, along with the makeshift car battery he uses to recharge it. Resuming his journey, he encounters a woman struggling with a broken shopping cart in the middle of the road. Sensing danger, Eli detects the stench of an ambush and calls out the hidden thugs. The gang emerges, led by a man who taunts Eli before Eli swiftly dismembers him with a sharp object. In a breathtaking fight, Eli dispatches the remaining attackers with remarkable precision, emerging unscathed. The woman is spared, but Eli discards her contaminated bottle of water and continues his journey. Later, Eli witnesses a group of bikers robbing a couple, unaliving the man before looting their books. Although guilt tugs at him, Eli reminds himself to remain uninvolved. Once the bikers leave, he resumes his path and arrives at a town dominated by Carnegie, a ruthless warlord obsessed with finding a specific book to cement his control. Eli visits an engineer to recharge his battery, trading gloves and a lighter for the service. While waiting, he heads to a nearby bar where the bikers present Carnegie with their latest loot. Disappointed by the absence of the book he seeks, Carnegie orders the other books to be burned. Tensions rise when a gang member accuses Eli of touching his cat, provoking a fight. Eli neutralizes the threat with ease, but the skirmish escalates as more thugs harm. Displaying unparalleled combat skills, Eli eliminates them one by one until only one remains. Solara, a young woman tasked with fetching water for the bar, interrupts and begs Eli to spare the last man. This distraction allows Carnegie's men to capture Eli and bring him before the warlord. Carnegie offers Eli a place in his ranks, but Eli declines and tries to leave. Carnegie, however, insists he stay the night. That evening, Claudia, Carnegie's blind concubine, brings Eli food. Noticing her blindness, Eli questions her about her life. Later, Carnegie sends Solara to seduce Eli, but Eli rejects her advances. Solara confides in Eli, revealing the coercion she faces to protect her mother, Claudia. They spend the night talking, with Eli sharing stories from before the Flash and teaching Solara a prayer. Solara becomes fascinated by Eli's book, but he hides it, unwilling to discuss its significance. The next morning, Solara innocently recites the prayer at breakfast, alarming Carnegie, who recognizes its religious origins. Solara confesses that Eli has a book bearing a cross, revealing it to be a Bible, the last known copy in existence. Carnegie becomes fixated on acquiring it, believing it will grant him unparalleled power. When Carnegie's men search for Eli, they find his room empty. Furious, Carnegie orders an all-out pursuit. Eli retrieves his recharged battery and tries to leave town, but Carnegie confronts him, demanding the Bible. Eli refuses, prompting a radical encounter. Despite being fired upon, Eli seems divinely protected, evading bullets and dispatching his attackers with precision. Carnegie is injured in the skirmish and Eli escapes. Later, Solara catches up to Eli, explaining that Claudia sent her away for safety. Initially reluctant, Eli reluctantly allows her to accompany him. Solara leads Eli to an underground spring where he fills his canteen. However, Eli tricks her and locks her in the cave to continue his journey alone. Solara eventually escapes, only to cross paths with the same woman who had set an ambush earlier. The woman warns Solara of the dangers, urging her to leave before it's too late. Out of nowhere, two men ambush Solara, dragging her to a secluded area with ill intentions. Her desperate screams guide Eli to her location, where he swiftly takes action, launching an arrow into one man's lower body and reaching the other in the neck. Solara, relieved, embraces Eli in gratitude, and they depart together. Later, Carnegie and Reedridge discover the bodies, alerted by circling birds. They also find a scrap of Solara's clothing, which helps them track the pair's direction. Meanwhile, on their journey, Eli notices a bird overhead and skillfully aimed it down with an arrow. As he retrieves it, he instructs Solara to remove the bowstring. When evening falls, the two find refuge in an abandoned cooling tower. Solara, intrigued, requests Eli to read aloud from his book. After sharing a few verses, he explains that a voice had once guided him to protect the sacred text and promised him safety. Solara then asks him to teach her to read, but Eli remains silent. Curious, she waits for him to fall asleep and attempts to retrieve the book from his bag. However, Eli catches her in the act and stops her. The following day, they resume their journey and stumble upon a house with a "No Trespassing" sign, which they miss. As they approach, a trapdoor suddenly opens beneath them, dropping them into a pit. The door opens to reveal Martha and George, an elderly couple armed and cautious. After Eli apologizes politely, the couple allows them inside. The initial encounter is pleasant, complete with tea, but turns unsettling when the couple reveals their backyard filled with remains of intruders they've dealt with. Realizing they are cannibals, Eli urges Solara to leave. Keeping his weapon ready, they attempt to exit when Carnegie and his gang arrive in vehicles. Forced back into the house, George unveils a hidden stash of weapons from beneath the sofa. Carnegie harshly demands Solara and the book through a megaphone. Eli sends out a package, which Reedridge retrieves, only for it to explode, unaliving several of Carnegie's men. The gang retaliates, launching an all-out assault. Amid the chaos, Reedridge fires a missile, causing massive destruction and unaliving Martha. Enraged, George fights back fiercely until he is ultimately taken down. Captured, Eli and Solara are brought outside, where Carnegie promised to unalive Solara. Reluctantly, Eli reveals the book's hiding place. Reedridge retrieves it, and Carnegie wounds Eli before departing with Solara and the book. Inside one of the vehicles, Solara cleverly uses Eli's bowstring to incapacitate the driver, causing a crash. She grabs a grenade and uses it to disable another vehicle before escaping in the van. Reedridge, injured by Eli during the wreck, dies after attempting to pursue her. Carnegie decides not to follow Solara, satisfied with having the book. Solara, meanwhile, reunites with Eli on the road, finding him severely injured but determined to press on. After patching his wound with duct tape, they continue their journey, eventually reaching the Golden Gate Bridge, which is impassable. Using a rowboat, they cross to Alcatraz Island, where Eli is too weak to continue rowing. Solara takes over and ensures they arrive safely. At Alcatraz, a guard allows them entry after Eli mentions he possesses a Bible. They meet a curator who preserves relics of humanity's past. Eli, revealing he has memorized the entire text, begins dictating it to the curator for transcription. As the work progresses, Eli's health deteriorates, but he perseveres until the task is complete. Dressed in clean clothes and at peace, Eli passes away from his wound. Eli is laid to rest in the island's courtyard, and the newly transcribed Bible becomes part of the collection. Solara, carrying Eli's weapon and listening to his iPod, sets off to reunite with her mother, determined to continue Eli's legacy. And there it is, the breathtaking end to Eli's mission, proving that even in a world consumed by darkness, hope and faith can light the way. But what will Solara's journey bring next? Will she fulfill Eli's legacy or carve her own path? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic recaps and unforgettable stories.